I think we're live. I think
Getting
we're
there.
live.
Yep, I think so.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the SVT podcast, the number one podcast in the world. Please don't look that up. I am with my guy. Sam is on a little drive here, so it's just me and Vince holding down the fort today, and we got
Yeah,
Tim's on the ones and twos. So how you doing? How you doing, Vince?
I'm great. Tim, how's it going, bud?
Nice, nice.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, we got a good show for you today. We're gonna run down the highs and lows, the snooze fest and the drama fest that was the week 10 of the NFL. Gonna go through our pick'ems and make sure we Nostradamus all the picks correctly for next week for week 11. Touch base on some moves going on in the MLB and the Warriors. They are not cooking right now, so we're trying to see if they can find some of that magic that won them a chip about 2 years ago here. From there, we'll jump across to the soccer fields and move on over to the frozen ponds of hockey here. So, without further ado, Vince, hit us with these NFL scores.
All right. On Thursday, the Panthers could not get the job done against the Bears, 16-13. Bears get the win.
That was a snooze
Oh,
fest.
that was a snooze fest. The highlights put me to sleep, and those are only 90 seconds long. So moving on. Sunday in Germany, another snooze fest. Good thing we were already asleep. Colts beat the Patriots 10-6.
Man, the Patriots went through another quarterback change in the middle of the game. Can you imagine flying over to Germany and you're not even good enough to represent your team? You got to get benched.
Oh man. Yeah, heads are gonna roll in New England. And it's not gonna be Bill Belichick,
I think,
but
my opinion, I think Bill Belichick at this point should just retire or
I
at
think
least
that's it. Yeah.
step down,
Hmm.
Keep the lineage while it's still there.
Yeah, he could just move into like a sole GM slash vice president of football ops or something, and then
Yeah.
let somebody else do the coaching. And because I mean, he's earned the right to walk off on his own terms. I think he should make his own terms happen soon, though.
I also think that he would probably walk away from the team and then be a DC somewhere because I feel like he just can't stay away from football. I could see that happening too.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I
he
mean, and he
he
doesn't
should
want to
walk away though.
broadcast either. He's yeah,
No. No,
that's not his bag. No.
that's drier than a stucco on
Uh,
the roof.
Yeah. All right. So for the regular scheduled time games on Sunday, Steelers over the Packers 23-19. I don't know how. The
Hey
Steelers
man,
are 6-3, man.
he's one hell of a coach. We say this
I
week in,
yeah,
week out.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, Mike Tomlin is a hell of a coach.
Hmm.
Buccaneers beat the Titans 20-6. The Texans, this one was real exciting over the Bengals 30-27. CJ Stroud only gets like a 356 passing yards this week.
Only.
What a bum. No.
Yeah. This kid's the truth, man. I
he's
mean, reality.
he's really exciting. He keeps flashing pretty much every week at this point.
Yeah.
Um
Speaking of flashing,
Vikings, speaking of flashing, the Vikings over the Saints 27-19. Joshua Dobbs gets the job done
he
again.
couldn't he couldn't even find where the locker room was. He had to have a worker at the stadium point him in the right direction.
Right? Yeah. Um, Gets the job done though. They win. The Vikings are back in business, even without Kirk Cousins. The Browns beat the Ravens 33-31. This was another really exciting one. Last
Yeah.
second walk-off field goal. Man, we had a lot of those actually this week.
I literally went on record that weekend saying on Sunday, yesterday, that I said Ravens will beat the Chiefs and win the division here, right? And wow, Browns just made me look like an a-hole. So
Yeah. All right. So Sam's actually in the chat, and so is my dad. Apparently,
nice.
he couldn't hear Tim. But that's that's fine. Sorry, Tim. You got to figure out something. You got to press the right button, bud. Sam is also in the chat. He says Jack Jones was released by New England. Where's he gonna land? We'll see.
Jack
Uh,
Jones or oh yeah. Okay.
yeah. New England released him. And then also he says MVP candidate, CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Definitely front runner for rookie of the year. And
I
should be
I
in the
think that's
conversation. I think it might be a little premature, but
yeah,
I could see him landing top 10 in MVP discussion real quick. If he keeps this up, he's probably going to be top 5. Like he might finish like 4th or 5th because I don't think the voters will give it to a rookie.
that's exactly
Unless
what I was gonna say. I think the rookie thing is
unless
gonna hold
there's
it back.
something really really extreme that happens.
Yeah.
Also, like I think that we're approaching 2/3 through the season. Like teams are more than halfway done at least. I think now's the time we can start asking who's your MVP candidates and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I think CJ Stroud definitely deserves to have his name in the ring. I don't know if he's going to win it, but I don't think he's going to win it. But I think it's definitely worth it, like at least to bring him up.
Yeah, I think your MVP candidates is CMC. It's always going to be Mahomes because he's figuring out a way. I think Hurts is kind of maybe not so much in the conversation anymore, but I think Shroud is definitely in that conversation as well. But I think the rookie thing is really what's hurting him the most as far as
Yeah.
him winning that award. But
Right.
yeah,
Because he's been mostly excellent, but also there's been a couple of clunker games, and they'll use any excuse, I think, to like vote against a rookie. I think,
yeah,
especially for MVP, but they'll be more than happy to vote for him for Offensive Player of the Year. I think he's pretty much locked that up at this point. I think
yeah.
I think
I
one
also
more game and that'll do it. I don't think anybody else is catching him for that.
Yeah, I also think biasy is also your winning record too. So you look at the Texans records versus the 49ers and the Chiefs, for
Well,
instance.
I
So
mean, I think the Texans just went above 500.
they did, but when you're comparing,
Yeah,
49ers and
yeah,
Chiefs,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
totally. Okay, so let's get back to these scores. The Lions walk it off against the Chargers, 41-38.
another good
Lots
one.
of fantasy points in that one.
Yeah.
Everybody had a great game. And the Chargers do what the Chargers do. They fold when it matters the most. So there you go. The
I saw that.
Cardinals walk. I think this was another walk-off, right? Against the
It
Falcons,
was.
25-23. Good grief. Cardinals ruining their shot at the number 1 overall pick, but the Falcons and Arthur Smith deserve that loss because screw Arthur Smith.
Yeah,
That guy,
exactly.
like he just calls plays, whatever is going to piss off like everybody, fantasy managers, Atlanta fans, everybody, like whatever's the play that's going to piss off the most people. That's the play call. That's the one. That's Arthur Smith. He's got a plan, and his plan is to get the entire planet hating him. So, all right. Cowboys beat the Giants 49-17. Yeah,
To be expected.
Yeah, we expected that. I did see one stat that Danny DeVito has more touchdown passes than who was Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
So that's not good for either of them. Seahawks walk it off against the Commanders 29-26.
That was another one that I think it was a
That's-
lot closer than I anticipated, but
yeah. The Commanders definitely made it interesting, but the Seahawks were just a little bit better in the end. Sam is not on the call to talk about his Raiders winning 16-12 over the Jets on such
I'll
a
be honest with you,
turd.
Sam. I'm happy your team won. But that was a snooze fest too.
That was not fun. They get the job done though, and if you're a Raiders fan, I'm sure you're hyped about just getting a win. And you're 2-0 under this new regime after exercising the demons of fucking what's his name? I already forgot it.
Hey, at least Josh McDaniels. At least
Daniels.
at least a touchdown was scored in that game. Mm-hmm. One.
Right. Sam says, "Woo!" Yeah. Also, agreed. That was the Lions had a hell of a game that game.
Yeah.
Too. So, the Bills and the Broncos are playing right now on Monday Night Football. It is 3-0 Denver up top, and they have the ball, and we're nearing the end of the first quarter.
There was a potential strips fumble for a touchdown, but he was ruled down on contact with his elbow. So the Broncos retained the ball, and we're back with the Broncos with the ball. So okay. Live updates, baby. Live
All
updates.
Right. And so, Tyler, your boys had the night off. They have the week off. They're on the bye, getting healed up.
Yeah. Big game, man. Big game Monday. Not this Monday, obviously, but next Monday. Chiefs in Kansas City. If there was a game to circle as the highlight game of the season, that is the game to circle. So a repeat of the Super Bowl. repeat of the Brotherly Bowl. So I'm
I
excited.
don't
Can't
know.
wait.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to it in our picks in a little bit, but
Yeah,
that's a game that definitely belongs on prime time, and I'm
yeah,
glad they
for
found
sure.
a place for it on prime time. Although I would have thought they would have put that as the first game of the season, but it's another
I kind of
story.
would have preferred that, but
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that okay, we're both coming off a bye, Chiefs and the Eagles, so
Yeah.
it's a
And
kind of
Andy Reid is a legend off of the bye. You
yeah,
know it. The
yeah,
Chiefs know it. So we'll see what happens, man. But
it's gonna be fun.
the one game we haven't talked about yet, 49ers all over the Jaguars, 34-3. They tried to get CMC that touchdown at the end. Like they had already pulled all the starters. Sam Darnold actually marches them down the field, gets them within touchdown range. And then they bring CMC out to try to get the last touchdown. But because he sucks, because he's garbage, he
That's what
couldn't
he
get the
said.
job done. That's
Said
what
I
he said.
suck.
Like, I suck, apparently. It's all tongue in cheek. It was a hell of a game. Chase Young, that's quite the addition. I really enjoyed the first game, seeing that Nick Bosa looked revitalized. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
everybody just looked super excited and full. There was a pep in their step, and
yeah.
this
I
is
mean, I think you guys
normally when
coming
you're
off a
playing the
bye too.
Jaguars in a get right game, you'd think it's like, the Jaguars of old, but this Jaguars team is actually a pretty good team.
Yeah,
They're leading the AFC South. You don't think of them right now as a get right game, but the 49ers certainly got right against them. And that 3-game losing streak, that's in the rearview mirror now.
yep.
Just looking forward now. I don't know what else to really say.
One
Like
thing I wanted to
everybody
note.
did their
One
job. Everybody did it excellently. I don't.
one thing I wanted to note, which I thought was pretty wild. I was looking at your guys' schedule. You have
Mm-hmm.
8 games left, right?
Yeah,
5 of those games, which are also in a row, you play against teams that are birds.
yeah. We got
It's
the bird.
Seahawks, Eagles, Seahawks, Ravens, Cardinals. I think that's it. I think that's the 5
Okay.
in a row.
Yeah.
It's bird week after
That's
next week.
right. Get your shotguns ready. It's bird hunting season. All right.
Ooh,
Yeah. So this is. I mean, I'm feeling great about the Niners going forward. I said that they need, the bye happened at the right time for them. They were probably
yeah,
get a chance to get healthy. Trent Williams coming back, that
that's
was
big.
huge.
That's big.
He actually, they were asking him about it, and he said he was out in front blocking, and in 31 on Jacksonville basically turned around and started running away from him. He's like, I never seen that before. But uh yeah, so having Trent back, having Debo back, and then all of a sudden they're over 30 points again. Wouldn't you know it? I think losing Trent was more harmful than Debo, if I'm being honest. If I obviously don't want either of them missing any more time.
Yeah,
But if you're gonna tell me which one is easier to replace, Debo is the one that's easier to like pick up the slack for. Trent Williams is an all-world blindside protecting tackle, and he's gonna be a future Hall of Famer. And losing that guy hurt a lot, and that was evidenced by only being able to score like 17 points for 3 consecutive games without him there. So there we
yeah.
go.
It's the same
He's
way with
back.
the same way
Problem
with the
solved.
Eagles. Like when Johnson is out. I'm sorry, Dickerson is out as well too. Our blind side. So it's just we look abysmal. We need that. We need that big guys, man. We need the beef up front. So
Absolutely. All right, so that takes care of the scores, and if anything needs to be mentioned about this Bills Broncos game happening behind us, we'll break in and just give you that news. But other than that, I think we're ready to move on.
yeah. So let me go ahead and get my screen ready here.
All right.
I know Sam may be tempted to want to shout him out in the chat, but Sam will just ask you to text us when you get a moment here. You don't need to shout him out in the chat here for us. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll get ready here. All right, so we are a couple weeks behind, only because we didn't get to show the screen 2 weeks or last week and the week prior. So at least with the updated scoring here. So I already did 2 weeks ago, updated the scores here, and then I added last week's here for us. It's a lot of reds there, a lot more than I anticipated. I think you had the most Me and Sam tied for the amount of reds that we had.
I went Panthers instead of Bears, and then everybody else. Oh no, Sam's got a bunch red too. I mean,
Yeah, Sam
it,
has
it
one
was a
more red
pretty
than me.
even. It was a pretty even week overall.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So you're currently at 74 and 40. I'm at 68. Sam's at 67. We didn't get Daniel's picks, but that's okay. We'll put an asterisk next to him and just see if he can stay above
yeah,
500.
yeah. Percentage points. We'll do percentage points. Okay,
Exactly. Okay, so
we.
starting
Whew,
off, yeah,
that's a hell of
starting
a start. That's a hell of a game to start the week.
that is our Thursday night. Bengals at the Ravens,
Oh,
and Ravens are favored at -3.5. Let me put my mic down here.
okay.
So go ahead.
All right,
I'm gonna
so
let you go.
Sam's not here, so it's going to be just me picking. So go ahead and slide that over. There you go. I am going to pick the Ravens to win it. Both teams are coming off of a loss. I think the Ravens are just a little bit better.
I would agree, but I think the Bengals need this game more than the Ravens need this
Well,
game.
yeah, obviously they're further down. They're like right around 500.
Exactly. They're actually out of the playoff contention because of this loss last week. So
Yeah.
they're out of the hunt. So they need this. So I'm going to go Bengals on a desperate win to get this done here. Next game here is the Steelers at the Browns. Browns are favored at -4. Take it away.
You know what? The Browns should win, but I don't know what the hell's in the water in Pittsburgh that Mike Tomlin can get these guys to play way above their heads. And it's a division rival game, so you can almost, like, if the teams are close, you can almost throw who's better out of the window. Like, it's just, I'm gonna go on gut. I think the Steelers get it done. I don't know. I have no real reason to pick them other than it's just in my gut. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I mean, we say he knows how to coach, so Tomlin's got them playing right. Warren had a touchdown. I just still don't believe against the Browns defense with Miles out there. I think the Browns have enough just to get it done. So I'm gonna go Browns on this one.
Okay.
Raiders at the Dolphins.
I'm gonna
I know
take
the
the
Raiders
Dolphins.
I know the Raiders are a get right story, but I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, the Dolphins should get the job done. If they don't get the job done, then there's actually like real problems in Miami because I mean, this should be a track meet,
Exactly. One thing
Speaking
to
of
note,
another should happen.
yeah, one thing to note too, just so you know, Miami Dolphins are favored at -10 in that game, so
Yeah,
that should tell you a lot you need to know there. Bears at Lions. Lions are favored at -9.5.
Lions, man.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
that offense is just a walking 30-point team.
Yeah.
when they need to be.
Right.
All right, so Titans at the Jags here, and Jags are favored at -6.5.
Yeah, that's about where I would think the line would be. I got the Jaguars.
Me too. I'm in that same boat. Okay.
Yeah. Two disappointing teams next. Okay. Yeah.
Chargers at Packers here. Let me see here. Okay, yeah. Chargers are favored at -3 coming into Lambeau in the wintertime, might I add.
It's technically false still. I got the Chargers winning this one. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to, like, they can put up enough points against this terrible Packers team. They'll get the job done.
It's cold, and I don't know who runs, their, I don't know what you want to call it, health situations with the Chargers, but man, every year a Charger player gets hurt, and I think another one's going to get hurt here, and it's going to really change the momentum of this game, and I'm going to go Packers on this one.
Okay. There we go. We're live.
Yeah.
These picks, we got 3 picks that are live so far. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Cardinals at the Texans, and the Texans are favored at -5.5. I think you and I are going to pick the same thing on this one.
We're both picking the Texans, but I do want to make a note that Kyler Murray coming back, he played well enough, knocked some rust off. I think he can play a lot better. He could be a problem, and
he could be.
I'm not going to be shocked at all if the Cardinals end up winning this game, especially if the defense has played somewhat better than I thought that they were capable of throughout the season, even though they only have like 2 wins on the year, I think. Um,
Yeah,
but
I think
a lot of these games are a lot closer than I would have thought going in, and having Kyler back, maybe they just start being a pest. Even though they're pretty much done for the playoffs, maybe they're just going to be annoying and stumble their way into like 3 or 4 more wins throughout the rest of this year. This could be one of them.
yeah, Gannon's got them playing great defense. I know him very well. I have my personal opinions about him when it came to the Super Bowl, but he's got this Cardinals playing right. So defensively wise,
My dad is saying fantasy football, his fantasy football team needs the Chargers to put up some big numbers. Yeah, I got Chargers all over the place in several leagues as well. Not so much in the family league, I think, but in the other two for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
I get that need. I get that need.
Alrighty. So we are looking at the Cowboys and the Panthers. Cowboys are favored at minus 10.5. I
Yeah,
think.
is it that little? Good grief. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I would have thought this would be approaching 14, like 12 or 13 at least, but okay, sure.
Okay. So I want to take your opinion on what you think the spread is on this one and who's favored. So we'll go who's favored and what you think the spread is.
Giants at Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to be favored, but only by like 2 points.
Okay. That is kind of what I would have guessed too. The
Mhm.
Commanders are favored at minus 10.
Oh, see, the way you set me up though for that, you made it sound like it was going to be a lot closer. Like I think the Commanders,
I would think
I think
so
the Commanders
too.
run away with this like by like 2 touchdowns.
I do too, but I think defensively the Commanders have a lot of glaring holes. So I thought this would have been like maybe like I don't know 3.5, 4.5 spread.
Right.
I was not guessing 10.
No. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The Commanders aren't going to be able to stop anybody anymore. They just got rid of their 2 best defensive linemen.
Yeah,
One of them is with the Niners. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that.
Exactly.
Speaking of,
Exactly. So Bucks at the 49ers, and obviously the 49ers are favored at minus 10.5.
you gonna make me say it? Go
I mean,
Niners.
yeah, right. We're in the same boat on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're in Santa Clara. So
Mhm.
all right. Jets at the Bills. This is a lot softer of a spread than I thought. Bills are favored at minus 6.5.
Well, I mean, that's because the Bills keep losing games they shouldn't lose, and I think that's why it's not quite so outrageous.
Yeah, and I
I'm
think the
still
Jets
picking the
defense is
Bills to
decent.
win. I
Yeah, me
mean,
too.
there's no reason for them to drop this game unless Donna Kelsey shows up again. You know, Zach Wilson finds a MILF out in the stands, and all of a sudden has a reason to play for. That's it. That's the only way this turns out any better for the Jets.
I will say what you want about that game last night with the Raiders, but if I mean this is a big if, but if that touchdown at the end there, or almost touchdown, the Hail Mary, that was almost caught. Like it was in hands and it could have been bad horribly. But Conklin, no offense to him and people are giving shit about him, but he's what he's supposed to do. He sees the ball. He wasn't expecting, anyone to jump over his head as a teammate.
Right.
But
yeah.
That game was a lot closer at the very last second there than it probably should have been. But all right, Seahawks at the Rams. Seahawks are favored minus 2.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Seahawks to win. They're just the Rams aren't that good on defense, and they keep losing players on offense. I mean,
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I am picking the Seahawks too. That's more or less biased for me because I have the running back in both of my leagues and just needed to ball out. He did all right this week, but that's not his norm for him. So, all right, Vikings at the Broncos. Broncos are favored at minus 2.5.
Broncos are favored 2.5. You said?
I know, isn't that crazy?
No, hell no. Give me the Vikes, baby.
That's
go.
what I'm doing. I am in the same boat. All right.
All right. So that's your Sunday night game is Vikings Broncos.
It is, which is funny because they're the Monday night game. So the Broncos get back to back. Who they pay
Who did
off?
that? Who did that?
Who paid them
I want to find who that is and then like rub their nose into that turd that they created. Like that's a bad boy. No.
Can we flex that? I mean, what can we flex here?
Not yet.
There's not even anything I'd really want to flex on a Sunday night.
Like honestly, flex the Titans and Cardinals. Give me CJ
Probably. I
Stroud
mean,
on prime time.
I think
Get
if
him
you're
some
gonna,
MVP votes, you know.
if I would have flexed one of these, all right, Titans and Jags maybe, but I would probably flex, in my opinion, Cardinals and Texans. Flex that to Sunday night, honestly, because I
Yeah,
think Murray's gonna make it interesting, and then Stroud's the hot commodity right now.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of these that are just like one-sided games. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't really flex any of them. And so, I mean, you just kind of stuck with it. I think you got a mid matchup this week. That's fine.
yeah,
Whatever.
rough. All right, Eagles and Chiefs. I'm not gonna be mad at whatever you pick. I think it's gonna be a rough
Yeah.
game. Someone's getting hurt.
See, because it's in Kansas City, what's the spread? What's the spread?
Oh, right.
On that?
Chiefs. Okay, this is literally like just a pick 'em at this point. Chiefs are favored by -3 at home. Might I
Well,
add?
yeah, I mean, 3 points is your home field advantage. Usually, is what they
Exactly.
say. So, if this was neutral side, it's a pick 'em. Yeah,
I would argue that -3 is a pick 'em when you're at home too for
you know
Kansas
what?
City.
I'm gonna pick the Eagles.
Okay.
I think the Eagles get the job done this week. Uh,
I hope so because then I can use my meme of Dak Prescott on his head and I can say
yeah,
that we're 9-1.
right, yeah, yeah. God, oh,
All right. So last minute, if you want to change anything,
I'm
you
looking
locked
it
in.
over. I'm fine with the picks. I think. Yeah, yeah, we're good. We're live on a couple of games. We agree on a lot that tends to happen, but I think we got three different games that
We
where
got some
we're
changes here. We
different.
got the first two here are
Yeah,
different.
yeah. So those
We
two,
got
and
some
then we got
flexibility here.
the Chargers Packers are the other one. So yeah, I think we're fine. I think I'm good with that.
All right. All right.
All right,
Well, that's been the
lock it
pick for the
in.
week. Lock it in. Alrighty. And then
Okay.
Sam, we'll get you just later on when you land safely back at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I think it's time to move on to baseball.
Yeah.
So there's been a couple of things have happened so far. We got the LA Angels hiring our old friend Ron Washington as manager.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he got Marcus Simeon right. Sorry, Marcus Simeon doesn't see the yips anymore.
oh yeah, absolutely. He completely fixed Marcus Semien. He was the manager of the Rangers when they went to the World Series in back-to-back seasons and then fell short to the Giants and then the Cardinals
Question for you.
back to
Do
back.
you think Bruce Bochy, prior to him coaching this Rangers team, was a first ballot Hall of Famer?
First ballot,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
As a coach, not as a player, obviously.
Right,
but
right, right. Yeah, yeah, maybe.
now him
Depends who
coach.
else was eligible that
Okay.
year. See, when you use the qualifier of first ballot, I don't think it makes a difference. I think if you're a Hall of Famer, you're a Hall of Famer. I don't care
Sure.
how many times it takes to get in. But I know that a lot of the voters, they like hang that extra prestige on. You made it in on the first ballot,
Yeah.
sniffing their farts, pinkies out.
Well, with him winning with the Rangers.
He's definitely like I think he's a first. I think he was a Hall of Famer before. I
do
would have
too.
voted for him. And I think now he's pretty much, if there was any doubters
He cemented it.
on a first ballot Hall of Fame career, I think that was it. I think he's locked up first ballot at this point.
Yeah,
So
I think so. You come in your first year as a coach and you win a chip with a team that you've had no experience with in the past, other than
right.
just beating them in a World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's first ballot right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, Ron Washington, our old friend, he was the third base coach for a long time. I once brought a sign to an A's game that said Ron Washington fan club. And so I'm glad that he gets another chance. It felt like he should have had a chance before this. Like he should have got another chance before this. I mean,
he relapsed.
Right. No, he
and
had
I don't remember what it was for. I don't know if it was like alcohol or something else. And then he also
I
was
think
had
it was
a
the booger sugar.
yeah, he's also that too. And I think he's also okay, look, I'm not trying to get into a man's personal life here, but I think he had a promiscuous lifestyle, which is kind of wild when you look at Ron Washington, in my opinion. But I mean, hey, to each their own. I think that also reared an ugly head in the news and it kind of rubbed some people the wrong way too. So
Yeah, I mean, but in terms of what he was able to do on the field,
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
So I mean, I'm glad he's getting another shot.
Yeah,
So we turn our attention to Houston. Dusty Baker retired at the end of the playoff run. So Houston has ended up promoting their bench coach, Joe Espada, to manager. That doesn't really shock me that much. It's going to be his first chance, I believe, as a manager,
yeah.
but he's,
I think,
promote from within,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, it's
I mean,
fine.
Houston's got a lot of question marks. Like who's they've got a lot of players that they have to pay at the end of this year, and I don't know if they're going to retain a lot of them. So, um, is it the demise of Houston? Probably not. But Houston does have a terrible farm system. Um, a
Mm.
lot of the guys you see was their farm system. So, and they didn't really do a whole lot to retool it because they were winning. So they were more or less acquired talent to go along with whatever they already have. So it'll be interesting. I don't know what Houston's going to do in the offseason, but there's a lot of question marks that goes with that team going forward.
Right. In other news, Rookie of the Year has been announced. Corbin Carroll for Arizona, Gunnar Henderson for Baltimore.
Amazing picks. Perfect
Not really,
picks.
not surprised at
Not
all
at
by
all.
either of them. Both are very well deserving players, and we look forward to seeing what they do in year two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Great
I don't
picks.
know, not much else to add there.
Yeah.
I think we just always have this little section giving you all a peek behind a little bit. It just says A's Vegas drama, and so anything that shows up, like, we just put that in there. We don't have anything in here right now, but I think it is important that we do mention that this week
Yeah.
is the vote on relocation. It's supposed to happen at some point Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I would imagine they do it Thursday right before they get out of town,
Yeah.
so that way they don't have to answer questions.
I feel
So
like I don't know what you
this
feel, but I
feels
feel like
like
it's
a
going through. I feel like it's going through.
this feels like a certainty at this point that they're going to approve the relocation, and
So
that's because there was something in Nevada, like,
they
on
just
their bill.
yeah, so the teachers unfortunately uh weren't fully prepared and and they have to go back to the drawing board essentially. And then
Right.
also apparently another rendering came out, but I don't know much about it
I
other
didn't
than
see it or anything. Yeah, no. So there was actually language in Nevada's bill that they passed that they need something by December 1st,
of
and so
course.
that's why this is
Of course.
happening in November,
Oh,
and
right,
that's why
right.
it's gonna approve it, and even without basically any questions answered for us, like they they may have all these answers that we don't know about, but that's the thing, we don't know about it, and any answers that they might provide don't make sense.
Yeah, they don't have a rendering, they don't have an architect, they don't have pricing, they don't have any logistics done. They don't even
Yeah,
have a construction team that they're reaching out to. There's nothing. There's zero. So
right. They're just approving this blind, and I mean, we've ranted about this for
yeah,
years at this
yeah,
point. But just because they approve relocation doesn't mean it's quite over yet.
yeah,
It's another nail, you know. It's
yeah.
not the final nail in the coffin, but they
But we're
certainly have
getting we're
those
getting to
nails
the
out.
end there.
I mean, it's
there's
basically
there's only so many
it,
more nails left.
yeah, exactly. They've got the nails. It's like they got the hinges all like affixed, and they're like lowering the lid on the casket.
Yeah,
But they haven't nailed the casket in quite yet. This will be them grabbing the hammer and the first nail.
yeah,
To do it. Like, this is definitely not good for keeping the A's in Oakland. I know that the Oakland 68s sent like a box with like video and, like, a bunch of stuff to try to uh keep the team in Oakland to a bunch of the MLB owners. I don't think that's going to really work. I want to know what the final vote count is and who votes what. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
if it's a clean sweep, so be it. At that point, if it's a clean sweep, I mean, I've already emotionally said my goodbye. I think I mentioned that before, but
If it's a
um,
clean sweep, he paid off people.
yeah, exactly. Because
100%.
there is way too much that if I was in charge, if I was a business owner, if I was, somebody like the Yankees, or
Yeah.
the Red Sox,
Yeah.
the Dodgers, a huge budget team, I would have a lot of questions
Yep.
that I would need answered if I could, like, before I could say yes to this.
Yeah. I
And
agreed.
so far, we don't have those answers. And if this guy's going to keep stealing, like $40 million from us every year for eternity, basically in perpetuity, that's what's going to end up happening. I'd need to know that it's worth my investment.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, I would not be on board. But of course, I'm just a guy here praying that my baseball team gets to stay. I'm just a schmuck here with the microphone. Uh,
Again,
yeah,
we're the number one podcast in the world. Please don't look that
that's
up.
right. That's right. Do not look that up. Don't you fucking dare look it up. Look at that. It took me 35 minutes to drop an F bomb. Look
Hey
at
man,
me go.
you still hold the record on bold on our cheat sheet
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I know. There's another one, but no. Yeah. As always, fuck John Fisher, and I think that covers baseball.
Yeah, we'll move on to the hardwoods here. The Warriors, the last few games have not been kind to them. They are on the wrong end of a streak here. They have lost to Denver. I'm sorry, at Denver against Denver, 108 to 105. They have come back home and lost to Cleveland, 118 to 110, which, say what you want about officiating, Draymond getting kicked out of the game, this or that. And then they go on to lose against the Minnesota and the Twin Towers of those two defensive players, 116 to 110. They do play them again on Tuesday. That is for a in-season tourney game. They are currently 6-5, sixth in the West. Again, that can move with just a win tomorrow. I mean, yeah, tomorrow. So
yeah, we are early enough in the season that you can jump up like 3 places with a win or down 3 places with a loss. So
yep, absolutely. Man, I don't know. It's just dude, Minnesota's
this
great.
week you got Minnesota for the in-season tournament, and that game does count toward the record.
Yes.
You also have Thursday and Saturday back to back at home against Oklahoma City. I don't know what the hell the schedule makers were doing there. Really just trying to stoke that, classic Golden State Oklahoma rivalry.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, I think it's their schedule is super rough to start the season. I think they had 6 games in 9 days or some crazy crap like that to start the season on the road. So yeah, they've had a
and that one home
start.
game, you had one home game in the middle of that. So that
and
is in effect a road
Oklahoma.
game too. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's not a favorable schedule. It does get right because there's going to be a lot of home games going forward. But the problem we're running into is that they're currently 1-3 on their home court. So you may have fixed the road woes, but now you're dealing with the home woes. So, okay, look, I think Wiggins is obviously going through some stuff on the court that he can't seem to get right, and I know that Kerr is the kind of guy to stick by his guys no matter what, but I'm thinking it's probably time to either adjust the minutes. You don't have to take him out of the starting lineup, but maybe Moody starts getting some more minutes. I think he's playing and he's earned those minutes. I also think that, Wiggins was on the floor for 25 minutes yesterday and had 6 points. Pazinski got on the floor for 7 minutes and scored 12 points, so maybe it's time to start fluctuating here. Curry can't be the only guy who scored, 20 plus points a game.
Clay also just is not, yeah.
No, yeah,
Clay's not the Clay of old anymore. I mean,
yeah. I think at this point, maybe you don't have to take him out of the starting lineup.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I get it, but maybe we start pulling some minutes. It's not that we don't like you or we don't trust you. It's just right now we need to get right, and we need to start winning some games. So.
We need more effective time in those minutes, and I don't know. It's definitely not a tired thing. It's just something between the ears, I think, with both of them.
Well, you got to look.
Clay can get nuclear. We know that, and when he goes nuclear, because it's going to happen at some point, you can ride him out for like 40 minutes or whatever until
I agree. Yeah, and you got to look at Wiggs was playing at a MVP caliber level. Then he gets hurt. and then he has the family issue and he's out, and then you get your summer break. So he effectively hasn't played basketball in 8 months, essentially, right?
Mm, yeah.
So to ask him to be back the way he was at, the beginning of last season where he was playing at a high clip of a level, that's asking for too much. So I think realistically, just pull the minutes back a little bit, let him get right. Maybe let him play against the twos, like let him dominate against the twos. Give him that opportunity. So I don't know. I'm not the head coach. I just, I think Steve Kerr is a little bit too loyal at times and sometimes doesn't play enough of the young bucks. And I'd like to see more of the young bucks. See
Right.
as how they're going to be the future.
Right. Exactly. All right. I mean, it's still super early in the season, so there's nothing really. I mean, we can get we have enough to know that Clay and Wiggins are not playing well right now.
Yep.
But we also know that there's plenty of time to right the ship, and I'm not gonna get too worried. I'm not gonna get too you know, chicken little
Yeah.
about this.
Of course.
Right now the sky is definitely not falling. So let's get them right, and we're still in the playoff spot anyway. We're not even in like yeah,
The
we're in the
tourney,
sixth.
the
Yeah,
play
yeah,
in.
yeah. We're
Yeah.
not even in the play-in
Yeah.
above right now. Still sixth in the West. So plenty of time to get this right, and I'm certain that they will. And I expect the Warriors will be hosting at least the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, you think they're going to be a
Like
top four?
I think they're a top four team.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
that's where
I think I
they
think
should
I
be.
think I think they're a 4 or 5 team right now,
We'll
my
see.
opinion. So
I think
I think
I think there's no right now. Yeah, yeah. I mean, right now they're a 16,
I
but
know, but I mean I think as it all folds out,
I
talent
mean,
wise in the West, I think they're like a 4 or 5 team.
I think they're 3 or 4. But I mean, we're just nitpicking a little bit here.
I think Minnesota is a lot better than people are anticipating. Um, Obviously Denver's is a hot team, and I'm not going to rule out the Suns yet. So
Of
that puts
course,
the Warriors at 4, and I think also too that they could be a 5 team. I mean, who knows? The Lakers could turn it around. The Lakers look abysmal, but you know who's not going to turn around? The Clippers. That was a terrible trade.
yeah. Oh, that makes me feel so good.
That was a
Um,
terrible, terrible
Cue
trade.
the Avenue Q song because I got Schadenfreude here, man. I'm loving that the Clippers are 0-4 since James Harden has shown his furry little face in
Yeah.
Los
Oh my
Angeles.
God.
Oh, I love it. Uh
That man it looks like,
Straight into my veins. I love it.
yeah, he's
Mm.
absolutely dog shit. He is so terrible. So, hey, but Clippers are gonna clip, baby.
Mm. Clippers gonna clip, 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 clip. All right.
All right, guys.
Uh
So we're gonna jump to across the pond here to a team who is playing out of their goddamn minds right now. Wrexham went on to the group stage of the football league tournament here, which is another tournament outside of the FA Cup here that's played between the European League teams. They won that game 2-1 against Port Vale. They then go to Gillingham, beat them 2-0 or 2-0. They play next Saturday versus Aggerton Stanley. They are currently 9-6-2, second place, 1 point ahead of Notts County. If you're keeping track, they're at 33. I think first place, they are 5 points off. I have it here. Yeah, so Stockport is at 38. But yeah, Wrexham probably came in a little tired from last season, a little soft start the season. They are in full gear right now.
they've put it together.
Yeah,
And it's great to see.
yeah,
Let's get going on up, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Let's
I mean,
go
just
up.
1 and 2. That's all you have to do. You don't even have to be first. Just stay 1 and 2. You moving
That's
on up
right.
to the next round. So,
That's right, baby.
but yeah, so I'm hoping for the best for Wrexham. We'll see what next week brings us, and excited for it, man. It's a good season. So you got something here
Absolutely.
with Gotham here. What we got going on?
Absolutely. So the women's the NWSL, the National Women's Soccer League, had their championship on Saturday. We talked about it last week. So I think it's only fair that we talk about it again this week and what happened. Megan Rapinoe blew out her Achilles in the 6th minute. It forced her out of the match in her final game as a professional soccer player. That's a rough way to go out. Even if she wasn't retiring, this injury and her age
Done.
pretty much would have been the end anyway. So
I don't know.
I
She could
think
be like Aaron Rodgers and just be like, I'm good to go. And by December,
yeah,
three
no, but
months.
she but she doesn't rely on crystals like he does. She was actually like in good spirits about it in the post game. She was talking about like, I think this is proof that God doesn't exist. Like, just like it's just really like just making jokes about that and getting conservatives to clutch their pearls. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. So as for the game itself, Gotham City, Gotham Football Club get the win
I know what you
over
want to say.
Reign.
I know what you want to say.
Gotham City FC. The Bats got the win 2-1 in the NWSL Championship over Seattle, the OL Reign. And Ali Krieger gets to go out on top after the personal life chaos that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Crazy.
God, it's so I feel so good for Ali Krieger. I feel so bad for Megan Rapinoe that she couldn't finish the game, finish her final game. Midge Purse was your player of the match with 2 assists, and both of those were absolute banger crosses. Gotham FC actually went worst to first. Last season they were dead last. This year they're holding up the championship. They're getting medals. It's a good story, and women's football is coming to the Bay Area next year.
Yeah.
That's the new season starts. We're gonna have Bay FC playing at Earthquake Stadium. And I'm sure the tickets are not gonna be terribly expensive,
Yeah.
I think it would be a lot of fun to go check it out. And I'm
So
definitely
there's a lot
planning on that.
of women's sports coming to the Bay Area. The Warriors have announced the women's basketball team too.
Yep,
So
that's
there's
right.
no name yet. Um, they are still taking submissions for name suggestions. I think I put in a couple of them in there. So
Okay.
you can still do that. I paid homage to the previous women's women's basketball team in the
Oh,
Bay
you went with the
Area.
lasers?
Is that what their name was? I remember being something else here. It was like in 1980 or something like that.
Oh, even earlier. Yeah, no, I was
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
of
yeah.
the in San Jose. Um, yeah, Joe Lacob had a women's team before the WNBA formed.
Yeah,
But
they were called oh my gosh, I'll have to look it up. But anyways, we'll continue and I'll chime in once I get the name here for you.
okay, yeah. So that's basically it for the soccer portion of the show. But I'm just really excited to check out some women's soccer close to home. I don't have to
Yeah.
go down to San Diego or LA to see, like women's soccer in America is so much like the women do much better on the international stage than the men do, and this is a chance for you to see these women play close up and personal. And I think it's a great opportunity. If you're a father, you got daughters, take them to a match. It's great.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have daughters, take your sons. It's important for everybody see just how talented these athletes are. And I
To
remember the French had that commercial for the World Cup where they used AI to have the men doing the plays, but then they're like, but wait a second, and they undid the AI, and it was actually the women making all these incredible plays the entire time.
It's pretty sweet.
So yeah, it was a great commercial, and I'm definitely all in on all of this. So
To
yeah,
to chime in there, the women's Bay Area basketball team was the Pioneers.
Pioneers,
So I
Cal
put that in.
Stadium's Bay's mascot. Okay,
Yeah. So they were the women's basketball league team from 78 to 81 in the Bay Area.
okay.
So I figured it would be great to pay homage to that. And I
Yeah,
feel like
that'd be a good
that
one too.
might be the name. I really do.
That would be cool. You
Yeah.
get the Warriors and the Pioneers. I mean,
Yeah.
that feels nice. That feels
I
good.
think it was also too
Feels
because
cozy.
it was popular because the 49ers were really good at that time, or at least decent at
Right.
that time. So
Right. And I mean Pioneers, that also harkens back to the
to the Gold
why
Rush
the
days.
Niners to the Gold Rush. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The 1849ers that's what they called them, the 49ers, the people
absolutely.
that came in the Gold Rush. So
Absolutely.
so yeah, I think that brings us to the end of soccer. So let's switch gears
Yeah,
to hockey.
let's rip
So
this band-aid off here.
earlier in the week on Wednesday morning, the Sharks made a trade. They got a defenseman from Minnesota, Caleb Addison, for
Oh,
forward
thank
Adam
God.
Raska and a 2026 fifth round pick. Basically, he's a young puck moving defenseman. He hasn't scored a lot, but he has the ability to control the puck a little bit. So, and that's some on the defensive end, and that's something that they lack right now. They just need all the defensive help
Did
they can
you
get.
did you see that goal against the Anaheim Fox?
No, I
One, okay,
didn't.
so it was a deflection at the blue line. Okay,
Mhm.
it was a deflection off of I don't know who it was on the Anaheim. This puck just floats in the air and lands into the net against
Well,
the
that was
Sharks.
lucky.
I mean, the goalie, our goalie couldn't even. It was above his head. He couldn't see it. It literally
Right.
just floated from the blue line into that. And I was like, if that is not a goddamn symbol, or at least symbolism of the Sharks season right
That's the
now.
season in a nutshell, is what it is. Yeah. It's just okay. So the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to retire Yammer Yager's number 68 jersey on February 18th.
I mean, he's not
I
still playing. I thought he played to
I'm
his
getting to that.
85.
I feel like instead of them hoisting a jersey up to the rafters, they're going to like have it up and then he's just going to skate under it, put it on, and play a shift. Like I think that might be just as likely as him actually getting it retired and sent all the way up to the rafters.
Number 68, is that how old he is?
Yeah, I thought he was going to play till he was 68. No, Yammer Yager, obviously a hell of a career, Hall of Famer, and worthy of all the accolades that he's getting, and obviously a huge honor. And the only reason he hasn't had it retired already is because he was still fucking playing
Yeah.
internationally. I don't remember where. I think it was probably in Russia or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's back. He's getting his jersey retired.
Good for him. Good for him.
Totally good for him. Yeah,
I still don't rule out that he's going to come out of retirement and play some more.
I know, right? Okay, so as for the Sharks, they get the win. They finally get their first win of the season, 2-1 versus Philly. They back it up by a win against Edmonton. We called that one.
We
That
did call
was
that
our
one.
win of the week.
We did not have
called
Philly
it.
though. We did not.
We
Philly.
didn't have Philly, but like we were just looking for one game where they would win.
Yeah.
And we called Edmonton as a win, and they did it for us. They're listening. We believe in you guys. Good work. Make me proud. Okay. So then they lose 5-0 at Vegas, and then they lose 4-1 at Anaheim. They are 2 wins, 12 losses, 1 draw, 1 tie. No, overtime loss, excuse me. God, soccer. 8th in the Pacific, 16th in the West. They suck again.
All right, so we get to do it this week, okay? So who we got this week?
Tuesday versus Florida, Thursday versus St. Louis, and then the next game is Monday. So I figured we can talk about that one next week.
Well, okay, we'll probably do in the show. So who are they playing on Monday?
I don't recall.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
I got it. It's at the Canucks.
I'm picking that one.
Well, that game's actually not going to tip off until after we start.
Ooh, okay. So if it's just these two,
that's why I skipped it. That's why I skipped it. So literally,
if it's just these two,
just have at home versus the Panthers and the Blues Tuesday, Thursday, and then they get some days off to think about what they did.
Clearly, the Panthers is the best option here out of these two.
No, I mean, let's just. I don't think so. I think.
I mean, St. Louis offensively is not what it was at least a year or 2 years ago, but I think they're a better defensive team.
I need to pull this up. Let's see. So, Florida is currently second in the Atlantic, so they're like, I mean, they're a top team again. Yeah, actually, the Blues are the second wild card team. They're in worse position. So I'm gonna pick the Blues as your win of the week. Okay, so that's where I'm going. I'm going with the Blues. If they're going to win a game, the Blues is the game that they're going to do it. So there's your win of the week.
Yeah, I think, man,
it sucks that I just have to look at the standings and then say which team is mid, and there's your better chance.
Wait, are we in Florida?
No. Both games are at home.
I think this is a trap game for Florida, and the Sharks pull one out because they're undermining the Sharks, which then gives way to the Red Wings to tie for second.
Okay,
that's my Over the top bold guess.
Okay, all right. Let's get that tinfoil ready. For fashion you a real nice hat.
Exactly.
All right. So just looking back right now, the Broncos are up 9-0 on the Bills with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and the Bills have the ball. So
If the Bills lose to the
and
Broncos,
they're at the 50.
the heads are rolling,
So
man. I mean,
yeah.
come on, man. You are at home in Buffalo, and you
You're
can't score.
a team that a lot of people picked to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. And if you can't beat the Broncos, the hapless Broncos, they are not a good team, man.
No, no,
They just do not have it together. So they better get it together. The Bills, figure this
wow,
out, figure
absolutely
it
wild,
out, sort it
absolutely
out.
wild, absolutely wild. All right, guys. Well, anything else for the docket today?
I think that pretty much covers it. I do want to say that I actually saw an interview that Oregon State is gonna try to resurrect the Pac-12 in some form, and they have to get up to 8 teams, and they only have 2 right now, and they have 2 years basically from now to do it. So
Who are they gonna
uh,
get?
I don't know. They're gonna have to raid the Mountain West and the WAC. I mean,
Yeah,
the Western
Hawaii's gonna
Athletic
be on there.
Conference.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that those are your options.
San
Um,
Jose State.
San Diego State.
That's pretty much
I mean, Fresno.
Fresno.
Yeah. I mean, those are you're going to be a mid major.
Why would you want to
That
resurrect a conference that did terrible job at marketing itself?
Yeah, I know, right? It's just disappointing all around. I
Yeah.
mean, we've talked about it before, just how
Oh,
shitty it is
breaking
that the
news.
Pac-12 is gone. Yeah, what's up?
The Bills just scored a touchdown.
Oh, is it Dalton Kincaid?
I think it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
I think it
All
was.
right, there's fantasy points. Points.
Well, I don't have much more for the show tonight,
Yeah,
so
I think that covers it. So go ahead and wrap us up, man.
you guys are listening to the SVT podcast. Subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell to get alerts when we go live. Follow us on Instagram at SVT Sports Pod. Slide into our DMs. We would love to interact with all of you guys. So you guys have a wonderful night.
We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.